What's up, everybody? Farls here with the top 5 routes that bad players use in college football, why they don't work, how you can make them better, and what else you should call instead. So the first one we want to go over is 4 verticals, and I know that's an all-time favorite play, but here's why I don't think it's as good as you remember it in your mind. Remember, we're talking to players who haven't played in a while and who are starting to compete again, but not against the highest level competition. But you come out in 4 verticals. You know you can beat zone pretty easily because you've got 3 routes, and you can pretty much quick hike it, kind of wait, throw inside, have success. That's great. Why would I not love this? Well, if they do call man, they like it because it's easy to see, where they can throw. And that's great. That's great if you're not a adept player at reading defenses. But the problem is if they do go to man, back in the day, this circle route, I felt like it was usually the tight end, but this circle route really crushed man-to-man back in the day. And now it doesn't really beat it as good. The cut's not as strong. And so it can get boxed up a little bit easier. You're also dropping too far back in the pocket on these plays. We've got different kinds of zones in this game. Those hook zones can drop back in the middle. They used to never really have that behavior. So if you're coming back and you're trying to run 4 verticals, if they're manning you up or they've got a defense that matches, you're going to just not have as much success. Still a good play, still good for quick throws, but you just can't rely on 4 verticals quite like you used to. Plus, you're probably not getting in that many third and longs, and you're probably going to this verticals play a lot, and people are going to get used to it. They're going to use that middle of the field because that's the route that gets open. It's the obvious route if it's not the corner. So, careful running the 4 verticals, but those are some things you can do. Maybe use it early in downs, use it to the wide side of the field. Those are some things you can do to make it successful. Now, another thing players like to do is run drag routes across the middle. This is called a mesh concept. So if you're ever in a new playbook you're not familiar, what you can do is click in by concept, go find plays. It's not my favorite way to find plays. It's not what I would ultimately recommend. But if you're new in something new and you just can't find any plays, you can always go medium, find mesh. We're going to come out and check that out. So what's important about a mesh? What is a mesh? It just means that 2 receivers on different sides of the field are running drags at each other, and they're going to cross. If you're getting a lot of man-to-man defense, you can use mesh to kind of quickly, hopefully get rid of the ball. Got to learn to throw it there. My tip here is you want to hit it on the hash marks. So you want to hit this throw on the hash marks. Now, if you end up playing a good player with this, what they're going to do is they're going to drop to the first crosser. They're going to wait for him to cross in front of him in the middle, and then they're going to come back and go get the other route that's coming the other way. So that's what a good player is going to do against this concept. They also will press triangle, right stick down, try and shade underneath, try and get their hooks to 5 yards, and they'll collapse on the mesh. So you've got to be able to not just only throw short because they can kind of condense and compress that defense, but they'll look to user and you'll think you have it, they'll drop to the other side, you'll throw a pick. But you saw it right there. Once it gets straight manned up, it's good. You want to hit a tiny bit earlier than that so you can just cut up the field and break a tackle. Mesh, always solid, good concept, easy for players to use. All right, we are back in the Arizona playbook. They've got a halfback slip screen, and we're going to call it. So why is a slip screen a good call or a bad call? Well, it's really good the first time you call it, maybe on 3rd down, because you can catch your opponent off guard. They might not be ready for it. But why is it bad? Well, the offensive line's a dead giveaway that the team is pulling, right? If you're got a user and you're up in the line of scrimmage, you can pretty quickly tell that it's a slip screen. And it also takes 2 seconds to set up. So the first second, you're like, something's up with the line. Second, you're like, it's a screen, let me run away. So there's always a chance that the D tackle maybe notices it, sees it, depending on the ratings, maybe the computer goes there. So that doesn't happen too often, but that's always a risk. The second thing is if the user can get in there. Now, you've got to navigate through traffic, and it's a little bit tricky. What's good about it? Well, you can pick up 3rd and 15 yards by throwing the ball 2 yards. So if you're not getting 3rd and 15s, and you've got basically one free time you can use this to get a 3rd and 15, you should use it. But what makes it, bad in a sense is you probably don't change your formation. So this is the only slip screen I believe in this playbook. So unless the offense, has this out of gun spread, and then they have it out of so, a different formation. They have it maybe under center, just something quick hitting. You can't really be sure. Like every time I'm now in trips tight end and I've called screen in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, the defense's brain, if they're a good player, above average player, is like, there is a screen in this formation. I need to potentially, after the snap, take a quarter second and look for a screen. And that's not that much time to like give you something else. It's just like, okay, there's a screen in this set. I've got to kind of go in and look for it. So a screen's good once. It's good if it's in a few different formations. It's good if the first time you run it, they're on a blitz. They're setting up a blitz and you're just kind of leaking it out. But you've got to kind of call it ahead of time. You got to kind of know it's a blitz or get lucky on the timing. We don't like to call plays in the huddle where we come out and we're not going to get lucky on the timing. If it's 3rd and 15, what are you going to audible to? Deep pass. So that's the good thing about halfback slip screens or just screens in general. You got to vary your formations. It could just be a dead play. It could be usered and picked off also, or you could get tackled for a loss. But if you get tackled for a loss when it's already 3rd and 15 anyway, it's like, hey, at least you had a pass to complete. So that's a pro and a con of using screens. But something as the defense, they're going to start looking for that once you call it from a formation. All right, number 2, we're going to look at the Texas concept, or the halfback coming out of the backfield on an angle route. Now, you'll also see this route in some other concepts. If you were to look at like Ohio, you can see it from the gun wide trips halfback angle route on the left here. But we'll go ahead and take a look at one other interesting thing about this route is in this play flood trail, the angle route is actually part of a trail concept where you've got a drag clearing things out in the middle, and then the angle route going in behind it. Now, this is a concept I like. Great against in solo challenges, stuff like that. But, we'll talk about why it could be defended fairly easily and how people like to go against it. So why do people like this? Well, it comes right over the middle, and, it's the easiest throw in the game to make other than the mesh concept we talked about earlier, a basic drag. Like, 3rd and 2, you could throw it short. See how short I can complete that? So I hold down on the D-pad when he's coming out of the line of scrimmage. I'm guaranteed 2 yards. If you're coming back to the game, you can now see that your halfback can get stuck in the line, realistically. He can get caught up. If you're not mixing in, routes to the flat where, like, I'm using this halfback, where is he going to cut? Is he going to cut and go out to the side? Is he going to cut and go over the middle? You've got to play a little cat and mouse because the user knows that this route is coming, right? If you're using this route, they know it's coming. They're going to go with the tight end. They're going to drop down and see it. If you're getting, you got to take circle when it's there. He's much faster than the tight end, so you want to get it to a drag. And if you're new, one of the things that's cool about this route is you used to have to kind of call a play that had this in it, but now if you push up on the D-pad, you can see the Texas route is one option out of the backfield. And then when he cuts, you can throw it with a little bit. He's covered, but if I didn't rack that, if I had just held X, I probably could have possession caught that. So you've got it as a hot route. You can see the difference in the angle. You can kind of go with it. And there you click on, hold X, make the catch. All right, the number 1 route you use is the tight end corner. So let's talk about the tight end corner route because, 3rd and 10, you're going to throw in the tight end corner. I know it. It's just you do, and that's okay. But it is a route that people are going to use her because the tight end's going to run that vertical stem. And when a tight end runs that vertical stem, there's not much else he can do, right? He can either run to the corner or he could do like a 10-yard in route from that area. But if he's doing a 10-yard in route, then you're running into where the linebacker is. So, like, why would you do that? Plus, those other 3 guys on the left, one of them has to come across the middle, basically, at least. So he would then sort of be running into them. So the tight end corner, folks know it's coming. If you get a nice cut, yeah, it's solid. You're going to get your 12 yards. But similar like the halfback screen, you're probably going to get this once a game. But, look at that flat zone. He gets good depth now. They didn't always used to get that depth. People used to call a ton of cover 3. Zones didn't match. Like, that tight end corner was there for you. It's tough. It's tough to make a living on the tight end corner now. So what can you do, though, if you like to throw the tight end corner or you do have a really good tight end? What you can do is, use it with a levels concept so that if the tight end there is running his route, but the flat is dropping and you're not confident you can make that throw, you check it down underneath, right? So you can check it down underneath, catch it here. They're probably happy with that if it's 3rd and long, but if you're hitting this early in the downs, hopefully you're at least able to pick up some yardage and break one tackle. You should be able to break one tackle with a skill move on 90% of your plays, in my opinion. If he's throwing a little bit of traffic, see how I kind of brought him back to the ball to hopefully keep him in front of that safety. The last thing you can do, I've seen, Sybil do this, and Drini, they bring their tight end down. Make sure you try and vary this up. Try and hit this a couple times. Yeah, just so you let them know. Yes, there it is. Do that a little bit. Don't just rely on the 10-yard corner, because it takes so long that the defender's going to know what you're going to do. But that one breaks quick. It's much harder to defend. Use levels. Get there. Those are the routes that you've probably relied on because you've played a lot of football games before. But the coverages are different. The users are different. The game works a little bit different. And so if you're not having as much success, right, these are things that are going to work in your first 15, 25 online games, and then they're going to stop working because they're the things that, like, that second level of player is just ready for. And then, when you get to these super advanced levels, like, nobody's running quite this stuff. Last cool thing on the tight end corner is just you do have it as a hot route, whereas you didn't really have it before, so right stick to the right will give you a corner route as well. Right stick left if they're on the left side of the field. So you can see I get triangle on a corner, and then, of course, you can make it shorter, make it longer, depending on what you need. But you got to get the protection. Like right there, he won, but then it turned out to not be a good route. But we're still able to click on and make a play. So those are 5 routes. Hopefully they help you out. If you have any more questions, make sure you leave them in the comments, and we'll be back with another scheme very soon. Peace.